Hello, welcome to the channel. So as we're going into winter and the daylight hours are getting shorter and shorter, I thought I would spend a bit of time and actually get a really good pocket torch that I would keep on me as part of my pocket kind of everyday carry. So I've got this little collection here because basically these four came in a really cool bundle. They just had an autumn sale, so I picked up those four. They included this one for free, and my dad wanted me to pick this one up for him. So I've got a reasonable range here to look at and help you hopefully decide on one if you were looking at these torches. They're unbelievable quality. I mean, I'm really impressed, and the brightness for the size and the weight and the price, yeah, definitely, I don't think they've got any competition at all. So it's quite interesting looking at how they position these and the phrasing they use to market them. So they've kind of got this concept of an EDC torch, which is everyday carry, and then a tactical torch, and then there's a bit of overlap between the two. So obviously the tactical functionality is for, you know, maybe rescuing people, or you might find another use for those kinds of things in certain situations. So they've normally got spiky kind of tips to them, and you can operate them with a thumb button at the back. And there's a few other characteristics that would go towards, you know, them labeling it as tactical. Sort of the strobe functionality, for example, might be one of those things. So then you've got something more like this one, which is purely EDC. There's no tactical elements to this. It's obviously designed utilitarian kind of perspective, super useful. This is actually by far the most interesting to me, and I'll get on to why. This one coming a close second, and I haven't actually checked out the brightness of this one yet. It arrived today and I've just taken it off the charger. Says it's 100% full, but I've not turned that on yet. So that's going to be a bit of fun when we test out the brightness in a second. One of the other characteristics that kind of makes up the tactical definition is the ability to go into turbo mode in one movement, one quick action. So this can be set up on the back to do that. So obviously, as you can see, most of these are definitely small enough to slip in your pocket. This one's pocketable, but this is probably the sort of thing you'd put in a coat pocket. You'd take out specifically. You're not going to carry that around in your pockets all the day long. Okay, so these two here, the little two dinky ones, these are the ones that are sort of kind of the most interesting in this whole range because they're so bright for their size and their weight. This one particularly, 1000 lumens in something the size of my thumb. This one's only 90 lumens, but it still seems, because of the focus of the beam, it seems incredibly powerful for its size, and it is really impressive. You know, it's kind of the most surprising of the whole lot, actually. You really do not expect this. So if we quickly look at the range, this is the i3E EOS, which is powered by a normal AAA battery. So that's quite convenient in that you can just replace it when it runs out. You haven't got to recharge it. This is also powered by a AAA battery. This is the i3T, and this is the i5T, which is the sort of bigger version of that, which is powered by a AA battery. So these three here have got their own internal batteries and a recharging system, which is really cool because you get this little magnetic charger, just USB cable, and it just clicks on like that, and that's how you charge it. So that does work really nicely. This little bit lights up red or green to show you the charging status as well. So in terms of cost, this is going to be a little bit of a reshuffle. So obviously these three, really, really affordable. Then we're jumping up a little bit. So these are kind of around £65, something like that. I got this bundle here for 120 on their autumn deal, brilliant deal. It's definitely worth subscribing to the website and all the rest of it to keep an eye out for those little bundles and deals that they do. This was also on offer for £65, something like that, but it's now gone back up to 110. So now they're ordered by price, they're actually also ordered by brightness. So the i3E is 90 lumens, the i3T is 180 lumens, and this is the i5T, which is 300 lumens. Then you've got the Perun, which is 1000 lumens, it's a big jump up here now, and then 1500 lumens for the Warrior Mini, and the Seeker 2, which is 3000 lumens. So you can kind of see, obviously, given that there's a trend in brightness, this is a little bit of an anomaly to have that kind of brightness at this size. So this is the Perun, which is a new model in the lineup, and I think it's just absolutely amazing to be able to have the forward light out of the side. Just means you can clip it on to, you know, just clip it onto whatever you're wearing, and you've got forward-facing light to use with your hands free, which is just fantastic. I mean, to be able to do that without a headband and all the rest of it, it actually, funnily enough, does come with a headband and a thing that clips it on so you can turn it into a head torch. But I think given how useful the ability just to clip that on your collar or your shirt and turn it into that forward-facing light straight away, I mean, to have that in your pocket all the time, for me, that is the perfect EDC torch. And that's kind of why I got into looking at the Olight torches. But then I saw this one and 1500 lumens for something that size with much better battery life, obviously, than this tiny dinky one. So I thought this would be useful to keep by the door, so I can just grab it if I'm going out into the dark from home or whatever, whereas this one I can actually keep in my pocket the whole time. So this one has another one that I haven't got here, and that's the Batton II, and that's got the forward-facing beam like a normal torch, and it does beat it on beam distance and brightness, but obviously you haven't got the versatility of being able to just clip it on and stuff and have the sideways beam. And for me, that's just much more important. So I'm going to do a little walkthrough of the full features of each one of these now, and we're going to shine it at the backboard and in my face, and you can see how it looks. So the camera's on a fixed exposure at the moment, so whatever happens here, the camera isn't going to re-expose it. A lot of torch tests I see on YouTube, they've got it on auto exposure, so they turn on a really bright torch and the camera re-exposes and you're not really quite sure how bright it is. So this is fixed, so you'll get a really accurate comparison between these. So 90 lumens, so this is just on and off. So you just twist it to turn it on, and you can see that's what it's like. You know, it's actually quite a nice beam. It's pretty bright, you know, it is pretty bright. it really defies expectations to see something this small whacking out this much light. So the run time of this when it's on like that is 1 hour and 10 minutes, which is pretty amazing. And then you can just chuck a new AAA battery in and you're good to go again. Interesting, the beam distance quoted on the website for this one is 44 meters. So with these two, you've got just two different brightness levels. So the full brightness of this one is 180 lumens and the lower level brightness is 5 lumens. So the first click is that 5 lumen one, and you can see it's nothing like as bright as the 90 lumens of that one. So at the 5 lumen level, that'll last 16 hours on this AAA battery in this one, which is great. And if you turn it on and then off and then on again straight away, you get the brighter mode. So you do that. Now we're back up to the 180 lumens, which is obviously pretty significantly bright. That gives you a 60 meter throw, so it's a good step up from the little baby one, and that will only last 21 minutes at this brightness, which actually 21 minutes at that brightness, I mean, that's, you know, that's a pretty useful thing to have for something this size, I think. You can see the exposure there, that, I mean, that is, it's definitely pretty bright. So it's enough to give me quite serious hair light. If I shine it at the camera, yeah, it's not happy about that. Okay, so this is a bigger brother using a AA battery. So on this 15 lumen mode, it will actually run for 20 hours. So these numbers are all quoted from their website. I haven't actually tested them. I'm assuming they're pretty trustworthy. At least they're comparative. So yeah, 20 hours at that level. So if we do the off, on, we get the full wallop, which is 300 lumens. It will automatically go down to 150 lumens after 3 minutes, and that will then run for 25 minutes. It's actually going to give you a 60 meter throw, so that's the same as this one, interestingly, but brighter. So now we're onto this one, which is my favorite. This is the Perun Mini. So things start to get a little bit more interesting at this price point, this kind of part of the range, so you get a lot more functionality. So firstly, you've got the moonlight mode. So if you click and hold it down, it comes on in moonlight mode. So that's pretty dim. Actually great in pitch black. You don't want to dazzle anyone, you can just sneak about with that, and it's just a lovely low light. So in this low moonlight mode, it will actually run for 4.5 days. So it's just one button on the top here, and then you've got these nice little dual clips on these. Everything except the tiny one and the big one have got these dual end clips, so you can click it on to something either way. So this is quite useful in that respect. And this has got the button on the top. So a single click turns this on. Now it actually comes on in the last mode that you had it in. So if you hold the button down when it's on, it cycles through those 3 main levels. So it's actually got a level higher than that and a level lower than that. So you let go of the button when it's on the one you want. So that's the low one there now. And if you turn it off with a click and then back on again, it's the same level. So if you turn it off and you know when you turn it back on, you don't want it to go bright, you just want the lowest level. You can do that and override that memory by just holding it down straight away first. Then you get the moonlight mode by default. And if you turn it off again, a single click will then bring it back on in that level. Now double click gives you turbo mode. So this is the 1000 lumen output. And you can see they're not kidding. And the interesting thing about this, actually really dispersed beam. So you know, you can light that in a room and it will just light the whole room up. So So it's obviously not great for your long distance projection. So on the 1000 lumen turbo mode, you actually get 100 meters of beam distance, which is not bad, it's pretty good, but you can see it's a much more spread out beam, so you're not going to get that long distance, but it is phenomenally bright in that turbo mode. Downside of obviously a brightness in something this size is it only lasts for 1 minute, and then it will automatically drop back down to 250 lumens, and then it will carry on for 85 minutes. So obviously you can see with this, the battery life is obviously taking a hit because it's such a tiny thing. So it'll actually run for 98 minutes in the high mode like this, which is pretty impressive for 250 lumens. So you can go for the medium mode, which is 65 lumens, and that will run for 6 hours, or the low mode, which is 15 lumens, but that'll run for 25 hours. So there's a couple of extra sort of hidden features of this one, and that is the triple click gives you an SOS beacon mode. So if you've got yourself in some bother, just whack that on, clip it on, kind of hope for the best. It's also got a timer. I haven't thought of a use for the timer yet, if I'm honest, but so let's turn it on, double click and hold, and we get, in this case, that was 2 flashes. So I know that that's on the long time mode. Now, so it will shine like this for 9 minutes and then turn off. It's got a shorter mode, so if I double click and hold, I get a single flash. Now it's on its short one, which is 3 minutes. So after 3 minutes, it will turn itself off. I can still turn it off before, and I can change the brightness level too at this point, and that won't affect it. It'll still turn off. But if I turn it off now, then it's all forgotten and nothing funny is going to happen. You can turn it back on and it will stay on until you turn it off again. And there's one more feature of this, which is the lock mode. So if you hold down the button, it goes into moonlight mode, but if you keep holding it down, it goes back off. Now it's locked. So if you click it, all it does is just flashes for the time it's clicked. So you can't accidentally turn it on in your pocket in that mode. And to come out of it, you just hold it down again and it stays on. So it flashes and then stays on again. Because what you don't want to do is burn through that 1 minute of 1000 lumens and then find out it's flat by the time you need it. Okay, so looking at this one, this is interesting because you've got the tactical thumb switch at the back and the normal day-to-day button at the front. So looking at the one at the back first, it's a really interesting kind of feel. It's sort of just a nice metal end. And you can see it actually makes up the charging point as well. So the tips of the bits around the edge connect to the outer ring of the charger, and then the middle bit, which is the button, is actually the contact for the middle bit of the charger. But this button has got 2 points, so you can sort of half press like that, or full press and it clicks. Now you can see the mode I've got this on is the non-default mode. So a half click gives me boost mode straight away, so that's 1500 lumens without any audible click, which is quite fun. So straight into the 1500 lumens just by squeezing the end of that button. So you can really see we're talking serious brightness. You know, that's insane. You know, that is really something. I mean, if you shine it out of the camera, it's just, yeah, I can't think it's doing any good. That's really confused the focus. Yeah. And then what happens in this mode, if you hold it down, it strobes. So you can kind of think of a few scenarios that might be a handy thing to have. So the factory default for this is the half press is medium mode and the full press is turbo mode. And when it's in that configuration, it will actually do so if you hold it down, it will turn off as soon as you release it. But if you click it, and this works on either the half press or the full press, if you just do it quickly, it stays on in that mode, and then you do it again and it comes off. So that's quite interesting. So you can change the behavior of this button quite easily too. So you hold it down and then click the button on the front. So now it's switched the behavior. So a half press is giving me medium, and because I kept it held down, it goes off as soon as I release it. If I tap it, it stays on. So that's medium level just from the quick tap of the button. If I click it all the way in, it goes into turbo mode and stays on, and we'll click to come out. And if I hold it in, it will go off as soon as I release it. So that was turbo mode from the full press on the button. So that's the default configuration. If you hold the button down and then click the other one, it goes into the other mode, which is turbo on the half press and strobe on the full press. That doesn't stay on, though. You know, even if you do a single quick click, that doesn't stay on. Same with that. So interesting difference of behavior, and fun that you can set it up how you want. So onto the button at the front. So this is behaving more like the normal button on that. So you can do a tap and hold and you get the moonlight mode. So really super low moonlight mode on this one. So this is only 1 lumen, but it does run for 45 days in that mode. So anyway, if we hold it down now, it will jump out of moonlight mode and cycle through the 3 low, medium and high. So this is high mode now, and it runs at 500 lumens for 218 minutes. And then it will automatically drop down to 170 lumens and run for another 50 minutes in this mode. So I'm just going to cycle through to medium mode now. Okay, so this one is 120 lumens and it runs for 18 hours at this brightness. So that's pretty impressive to go through a whole day pumping out this kind of brightness. Back to the low mode. So this is above moonlight, so we are looking at 15 lumens of output here, and it will run for 150 hours like that, which is over 6 days. So you get a nice little light in the button there when it's on as well. Okay, so like the Perun, you've got the triple mode switch, but of course with this one, that's the strobe, and that is how you can get the strobe to stay on. So there's no SOS beacon mode on this one, just the strobe. And again, it's got the lock mode, so if you hold it, wait until it goes back off, that's now locked. So either the button or that button doesn't work, and if you do it, you just get a little red light to show you that it's not going to do it until you hold it back down again, and then it will stay on. Okay, so now for the fun one. So 3000 lumens, this is claimed. I haven't seen this yet. It arrived today and I've just fully charged it. So again, it's the same mechanism with the button. There's no tactical switch at the back. It's much more of a utility torch, although it does have a little bit of a useful striking edge. So it's the same pattern. So you can hold it and you get your moonlight mode, which is 5 lumens for 15 days. So if we hold it down now, it's going to cycle through its 3 levels. So that's the low level. So this is 50 lumens, and that'll run for 72 hours like that. So that's pretty cool. If we go up a level, that's medium. So this is now 300 lumens, and it will run for 13 hours like this, which is pretty cool. Right, let's go up to high mode. Boom. So this is high mode now, which is 1200 lumens. And it will run like this for 110 minutes, and then it will automatically drop to 600 lumens, and it will run for 50 more minutes like that. So that's pretty awesome. And you can really see that is seriously bright. And again, actually it's quite focused. So you see there's a serious beam there. On its full turbo brightness, this gives you 220 meters beam distance. And we're going to take a look at what that looks like now. So this is high mode normal, so this is 1200 lumens. So if I go into turbo mode, we should jump up to the 3000 lumens. There we go. I mean, that is really whacking it out. I mean, I can feel the heat off that from here. Yeah, the camera's just giving up. It's got no, I mean, if I just shine that through my hand, that's too hot actually, but yeah. Yeah, some pretty serious brightness there for the 3000 lumens. Amazing. It's getting warm. It's definitely, it's definitely quite hot around the front. I mean, it's hard. I'm just trying to think of a way that I can demonstrate just how bright that is. I mean, that's the manual. That's the cardboard box. It's just shining straight through that. That's quite thick cardboard. Yeah, pretty awesome. A triple click on this is a strobe as well, and it stays on. And you've got the lock mode on that again with the little red thing to show you it's locked. So this has got the timer as well, so that's the first blink, so that's the 3-minute timer. And that's the 2 blinks, so that's the 9-minute timer. Interestingly, the Warrior Mini doesn't have a timer. Okay, so that's a quick little look at these amazing torches. They're all amazing at what they do, and obviously some are going to be better than others for your particular needs, but I do still think the little Perun Mini is the real winner here. Just in terms of bringing some of the brightness of this one into something closer to the size of this one, and having the versatility of the hands-free light just from being able to clip it onto whatever you're wearing. That is really fantastic. So I'm going to do some more videos on the everyday carry pocket thing. I find it really exciting to build a nice kit that you can carry around. I spent a lot of time working out what I think the ultimate UK legal kit for that should be, and I'll be doing more videos on that. So please hit the subscribe button to be the first to see those, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.